Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 28th day of October. We're getting here towards the end of the month. We got the World Series coming up here in a few minutes. I just now read that Russell Westbrook now in the regular season, they're going to bring him off of the bench there. I've got Matt New Yorker backstage. We're going to go over the biggest games in NFL, plus a couple of college football games. But first, let me give you a quick word on, I'll be back in a minute 19. Go to a quick commercial break so we can get it out of the way early. And we'll be right back and get this show on a road. Hello, Sports Scope followers. After 5 years of doing this program once a week, balancing a 60-hour work week job, I've decided to do the program 5 days a week, 1 hour a night, taking a significant pay cut. So I've started a Patreon page, which is Patreon, Patreon/SportsScope, spelled the same way at the bottom of the screen you see there. For $5 a month, 17 cents a day, you can help support the program. You ask yourself, why Sports Scope? Well, I bring in such big names such as Al Borges, former Auburn offensive coordinator, and I cover the big news in sports that the corporate media will not cover. If you want to contribute more than $5 a month, you can go use the Cash App. The cash tag is Sports Scope, again spelled the same way, or you can go to the Zelle app, sportscope@gmail.com. SportsScope has about 5,000 followers and growing. If you want to advertise on the program, you can email me. The word is SportsScope, spelled the same way again, @gmail.com. Thank you and enjoy the program. Okay, now I'm live back here. I just want to say a special thank you to L Jr. yesterday, tipping me on the Cash out there. Greatly appreciate that. Much love, my friend. Without any further delay, let me bring in Carlos, the Mad New Yorker Chavez. Good to see you, buddy.
Yo, happy Friday, everybody. World Series days coming on.
Real quick, who do you like in the World Series?
I don't like either of those teams.
Who do you like to win the game?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm going to pick the Astros in 7.
Okay.
I think Philly's going to give them a little bit of run.
I'll say Astros in 5. How about that? That's
Baker not bad. I mean, they got a great pitching staff, so we'll see.
Yeah. Pickle says, Mr. Carlos, what's up? Hey, before we get started, I don't know if you heard me on the intro. Now the Lakers have finally decided in the regular season to bring Russell Westbrook off the bench. What's your thoughts on that?
They decided to play basketball, you mean?
Yeah. Well, instead of starting him, can you believe that they're that nervous around this guy, knowing that he's been a problem the whole time he's been there, that they waited? Now, he was brought off the bench in the last preseason game. They're 0-4. Now, Ham is just now decided to bring him off the bench. I thought they've been doing it the whole time, but apparently they've been starting him, and he's been blowing leads for him, particularly last weekend. And they benched him towards the very end.
Yeah, and like a lot of people, like we don't know what the contract is and what it stipulates, but a lot of these guys who have those bigger contracts, they need to be starting because that's that's within their contract as far as how they're going to get paid. And on top of that, it goes to the comparison of other players trying to get on the level of contract that you're on. If you're talking about labor union disputes and contractual differences between players in the NBA, so it's tough to put a player like him on the bench if you're paying him like a starting guard, right?
That's so ridiculous. That's the
but so like the coaches sometimes
in the NBA.
Yeah, I know the coaches sometimes will try to go around that by starting somebody and then putting them off and on the bench. But I mean, it just depends on the coaching staff. It depends on the player, and it also depends on how the player can make sure that this and the player and the coach can make sure that they're doing right by the contract as well. So,
yeah,
I mean, those are things that we don't talk about and we don't see sometimes and we don't understand, especially for older players or guys that are getting older. Same thing with what's his name in Philadelphia? Like his contracts are huge.
Embiid?
No, not Embiid. Well, Embiid and then the other, huh?
Ben Simmons, James Harden?
No, Harden, right? Like
Yeah.
Harden, everybody's like, well, how does he keep getting big money? But that's what the union allows a player of that caliber to get, right? There and in the agents, they're not going to get less money for a player, for how many points he averages, and they don't, all the benefits that a player like him can bring to a team, yada yada yada, and so on. However the actual representative sells the players to the team as well. So those things have to be worked out. The coaches hate it because they can't control the team like they want to. They can't control lineups like they want to. But it is what it is, and it's something that the NBA has been doing. Their ownership has allowed to do, and I think and the general manager is allowed to do, and I think it's hurt the game more than anything.
Yeah, I don't know if that's technically in guys' that's interesting. I have to look that up and
check
that.
Yeah. So if you don't start,
contract, I know you have no trade clauses. I doubt if you have starting or no. I know you maybe you have minute clauses. I doubt it, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's different clauses in those contracts. I just think it's
ridiculous how scared they are of Westbrook. To not do. I think he's making $47 million, and they're just scared to death to do something. Just now getting the nerve to make that. That's the problem with the NBA. That's why they're behind, and Major League Baseball as well. Don't want to pick on the NBA. They're light years behind the NFL, and the NFL needs to learn not to give fully guaranteed contracts just for that reason.
Right, and it's not, and like you said, it's not just the NBA. It's every sports. You don't want to pay a guy top dollar and have him coming off your bench, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's all it is. Like because you want everybody
stuck with him, man. It's a guaranteed contract.
I mean, one of the biggest messes around right now in sports is a player in soccer, and Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo. Like he's getting mega bucks, but the guy's not starting at some games, and a lot of fans are upset about that. But the coach is like, "Yo, this guy is getting older. He lacks the speed. He lacks, consistency." So, I mean, it happens in every sport. It's been happening more lately because the owners and the general managers have been allowing this to happen by allowing these players to get these huge contracts. So, if you got a player who's on a huge contract, you don't want him on the bench.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day,
crazy.
So
I mean, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because it's still just October. I think the NBA we've really started to pay attention around Christmas time anyways. It's just an interesting story there. I just thought it was fascinating how scared they are of these guys. Last week, you picked up a game, Momi, with that Oregon win there. Good call there. UCLA was not ready for prime time. I stand corrected. I did not watch enough of them. I'm read too much into the hype, like the Public Enemy song says, don't believe the hype. And I believe the hype. So you were 5-1. I was 4-2. We both lost on Jacksonville.
Oh man, Jacksonville. Let me tell you though, we both mentioned that they're a growing team, right? We mentioned that they're young and that
growing pains.
Yeah, the growing pains, and then they have a coach that's got them competing, and that's important, So they're in the right track. They're on the right trajectory. They just need to get a few players on both sides of the ball to kind of settle them down when they're getting too hype, or bring them up when they're getting too low.
I don't think they got a true number one receiver, and they got really a lot of holes in their secondary.
Mm-hmm.
That Jacksonville team, they've got some talent up front. I don't think they should have got rid of their other running back. They're very ETN dependent right there. I'm kind of torn with that move by the Jacksonville Jaguars, sending him over to the Jets there.
Yeah, but you know what happens when a running back is in the second or third year, and even if they're getting 10, 15 carries, they're asking for more money, and then they'll also be like, well, you put me on a trading block, so. It made it easier for them to focus on Etienne as a starter, and then maybe look for somebody as a backup, drafting wise, or picking somebody up on the wire, So it makes it easy for them and not have to think about another contract that might not be something they want to do in the moment, right?
Well, he's only a third-year player.
That's right. So, but in the next season coming up,
second-year player.
Yeah, but in the next season coming up, the options coming in, if he's getting the ball, then he's going to ask for more money. It doesn't mean that he can't ask for more money, you know?
There may be like a little controversy in the locker room with that. I don't know with that split. That was a knee jerk reaction, but he might not gel well with Doug Peterson.
Also, that's
two
also
coaches ago. Remember, Urban Meyer was fired after 1 year. You know. And he goes back to the other coaching staff. James Robertson was an undrafted free agent and 1,000-yard rusher. It was a great move by the Jets to pick him up. They stole it. You ever watch Scarface, 1983?
Yeah, I mean,
You stole your deal with Sosa. Stole it.
I don't know if it's a steal. It's a good deal, but I don't think it's a steal.
I mean, he's not Daniel Tomlinson or anything, but he's a good, solid running back.
The biggest problem right now is that the Jets, their starting lineup and the front line is starting to gel. They were having issues from all
some injuries this week. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's a good deal, but I don't think it's a steal.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't give up nothing. That's the only reason I was saying. So on the season, we're basically both 19-14. That's pretty much it from last week. Nothing really crazy. Let's see. Let's start with that game. Okay, the Jets are underdogs at home. They're playing the Patriots. Now, the Patriots beat them last year not Foxborough, but in East Rutherford. In the Jet Stadium, it was like 25-6. They blew them out both times. It was like 50. I don't know. You probably did watch it because you're living up there. 54-13 up in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Patriots got humiliated, in my opinion, on Monday night, and the Jets. Part of me would like to see your coaching staff, the coaching staff up there, use Zach Wilson in the run game, but the problem is he's too injury prone. He's not built like a Josh Allen or a Justin Fields. He averages about 15 yards a carry a game in the 2 games he's played the Patriots, but they have problems with mobile quarterbacks. So, and plus, I don't know if you read this, but Corey Davis won't play. And
Who's Corey Davis?
Corey Davis, the wide receiver.
I know, just yeah. Terrible pickup last year. Anyways.
Well, he was their leading receiver, but that's the problem with Davis is he was hurt here in Tennessee, and he's hurt with them. So that was my issue with Elijah Moore, dude. And by the way, he's starting now. It's like, why are you crying for, man? What is with these receivers? So much divas nowadays.
It's not. You know what it is? It's like also that the Jets are winning, and then he's not part of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So. And he, like a lot of people on a team, want to be on the field and playing to feel like they're part of something, right?
Yeah.
If not, they just feel like they're just watching the game. And you got to feel for them because they're on a team and they want to play, man. Like, it's not like they're on a practice squad, right?
You would think that they would be more cognizant of the situation. It's like, you know what, Corey Davis is freaking injury prone.
No, you see,
I'm second and third in line. I can move up to second or first because Garrett Wilson's a rookie. I've got 2 years with Zach. I think he could have a decent game Sunday.
Rob, man, I keep telling you about the Jets. Player. I keep telling you about the Jets. They're not condescending because they're not getting it, man. They got an offensive coordinator who has very little experience, who's green. And the brother of the other guy,
the younger brother of Matt LaFleur, right?
Matt LaFleur, yeah. So
which is the coach of the Green Bay,
right? And then like even last year, they had a second coach come in to help Zach Wilson, and do whatever he was trying to do to make him better, which maybe helped him. I don't know. At the end of the day, you said it right. Zach Wilson he's not a rushing quarterback.
Yeah, he's not as athletic as a
right. I mean, he's going to pick up yards.
Justin Fields or Josh Allen.
Right. So at the end of the day, he's going to pick up yards if he runs, but he shouldn't run because he's injury prone.
Yeah.
You got a guy in Elijah Moore who should be on playing as much as possible, but he's not. So my thing is that if you're not going to play this kid because he's still young, put him on the practice squad at least, have him play there. Right. Yeah. You're just having him in between in practices and stuff, giving him the idea that he's going to be on the field, but he's not. That don't make no
Yeah.
sense. You know,
Yeah.
these are the things. These are the small things that not having a proven offensive coordinator, a proven coaching staff, doing these things for this team to get better. Now they're young and athletic, and they look good right now. But smoke and mirrors, man. At the end of the day, you have to be organized, and you have to have this team ready to go on all facets and all levels. Because injuries come, players come and go. Injuries happen, and if you're not ready, you're not ready. What you gonna do, right?
Yeah, that's the problem when you got a copycat league. They want to go super young, and every coach and everybody that has some kind of connection through Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan is getting a job. If you met him in the airport, you may get a job, man. So if you run into him, you're in New York. You may be a defensive coordinator somewhere here in a few years and make a lot of money, dude, and might be on the program. But I hope you come back if you get a job for meeting Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan.
No, they probably once they hear my name, they'll probably be like, "Nah, son, I ain't talking to you." But we saw in last night's game, we saw that you could play a different type of offense. And look, I'm not gonna go back on what I said because I'm not a big fan of Roman. I've said that he plays a high school / college type of offense. But
you talking about the coordinator for the Ravens? Yeah.
Yeah, but what I am going to say right now is that he's actually now using the abilities of Lamar Jackson and the actual team in the tools that he has around him. Where last year he was just kind of like putting it in a shell, and then when he got injured, they never got anything going because there's so many injuries on all levels, on wide receivers, running backs, and Lamar Jackson. So then they didn't even get to play together well, and so everything just kind of blew up on the Ravens' face offensively. But this year, with Lamar Jackson banking on himself, he's actually doing things that make Lamar Jackson look like he's an actual decent quarterback, and he's given the ability for the offense to move, and it's more flexible now. Whereas the defenses, like the commentators are saying, the defenses, they don't see this kind of offense much anyways, and it took away from the Tampa Bay Bucks young guys that they had, the fast guys that they had, and they were overcommitting or they were just too fast for what was going on, and they were just not in the game. However, if the Bucks play a team that plays the Shanahan system, their defense is going to look a lot better.
Well, they call Tampa right. I predicted that win. I thought Denver or Baltimore would win that game. Thought it would be a little bit less scoring there, but Tampa's way banged up.
It's not just they're not just banged up as much as also they're giving up plays where they're moving forward. They have the opportunities to get closer to the red zone, and they're just got a lot of penalties, man, and a lot of penalties not just in the offensive side, but then also on the defensive side they're getting penalties, and they're not as much as they're a balanced team. The penalties are affecting them, man. I
don't think Bowles is doing a good job. I think he may be trying to do too many things right now, and his side of the ball's not really as tight as it was in the past. Now the team's just not that good because they've got players out, they've had players in, they've had the chunk of their secondary was out yesterday, which that means no, never mind. I mean, that's Cincinnati storming in that division in the North, and then you also have Cleveland's going to have Watson back. Baltimore is going to have their hands full in that division. Not to mention that Pittsburgh matches up really well with Baltimore. Baltimore's got a chance. They're leading the division, don't get me wrong, but that's going to be an interesting one to follow. But going back to this Giants, the reason why I brought up this Jets and Patriots game, Patriots got a little bit of a quarterback controversy. Now Mac Jones, he's supposed to start. The problem is he's 2-7 in his last 9 games, Mac Jones. He was brought out of the game Monday night, and then they put Bailey Zappi in after an interception. Now they're back on, say, well, he's practiced all week. There's a good chance, even with everything we just said about the Jets, they have had a good offseason. They can, because of the Patriots, have a new offensive coordinator who was a defensive coordinator and hasn't clicked with Mac Jones as good as Josh McDaniel did. There's a chance the Jets could beat them Sunday. I don't think it'd be kind of a sloppy game, but there is an outside. That's why the odds makers only have it as a 3-point game in favor of the Patriots.
Right. And Robert, do you honestly believe that either Mac Jones or Billy Zappi are actual starting quarterbacks in the NFL? Would you go out of your way to make a trade for either one of those quarterbacks right now if you were another team in the NFL?
Yeah, I don't know what Belichick was thinking, taking them out like that.
Right, but from those two guys, would you pick either of them to be a quarterback on your team?
Well, there's not been a big enough sample size of Bailey Zappi.
Okay, so look, let's just say no. Just say no. It's okay to say no. Just
no,
like
there's
Zach Wilson,
not enough. There's not enough sample size of Bailey Zappi.
And it's okay if they're young, they're not developed enough, whatever the story might be on them, and everybody else who's coming into the league or everybody's been in the league.
You could say no. Right? I got to say my opinion, brother.
Yeah, but it's okay to say no and that the Patriots need a real quarterback. It's okay to say that. They lost a real quarterback, and now he's not doing that well. It's okay to say that too. Yeah. Listen, you're the Patriots. You need a quarterback. Belichick knows that. He's doing what he can to try to save his skin. But at the end of the day, I've said it here. I've been saying it. He's done past what he needs to do as a coach. He needs to move on. You know, as an executive or something, do something different because he's not. This ordeal, first of all, with the coaches is not a good. It's not a good fit. It's not a good fit for the team. It's not a good look for him. He usually looks like a coach that's organized, that has a team ready to go, and right now he doesn't, and that's okay because he couldn't do it. He's not doing it right.
Now he's butting heads with
he's got two young bucks that have no experience trying to play football with a program or a kind of system that doesn't match up pretty at all with either of them, right? Because he's trying to make a Brady out of two guys that are not Brady. Right. So, you can't do that. You got to use a guy's skill set and you got to, do it the best way as possible. Look, you got to be like Bill Walsh. He has a system, but he knew what Joe Montana can do. He knew what Steve Young could do. Hell, he knew what, this guy, all these guys do, right? And he has support with the coach like Mariucci who would calm these guys down, who would bring them back to earth.
Steve Mariucci, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what is missing in the Patriots coaching staff is a guy like McDaniels, who they lost. Even though McDaniels is no genius, he was a cooler. He was a guy to go to Bill and be like, look, let's run this. Let's do it this way. You got the defense. I'll run the offense. That's it. That's all he had to do. So now he's in a different
situation. They did have a little bit of rhythm going for 2 games with that Zappi kid. And I think maybe Bill may have been overthinking the room. My point is they got humiliated. Zach Wilson's not that fast. They're going to upset. They're probably still going to – it's not really an upset. I feel like the Jets would be the favorite, but the fact that the way these two matched up, I actually think the Patriots are probably going to beat them like 20-16 or something. It's not going to be a fun game.
No, I mean it's probably going to be like 14-17
or something. Very boring.
Yeah,
under 40 points.
If the Patriots win, they're going to win on a mistake, or they're going to win because the Jets just didn't score enough.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. So what is your? I mean, I'm actually calling for the Patriots to win. This was a tough game to handicap, man.
Yeah, you can't. No, not this. I wouldn't. I would stay far away from this game. And this is where New York, both teams will start. Look like they're not in the top.
I don't know. You say that every week.
They get, but look, Rob, they've been getting lucky in the last 3 games, right?
Eventually, one's luck is going to run out.
Right.
I've been through this with the Titans for 20 something years now.
Yeah, but okay, but you cannot compare.
Eventually, the luck is going to run out.
You can't compare the Titans to the Giants.
Not this Titans. I'm talking about previous coaches.
Oh yeah, the regime, yeah.
Where they win close games here, close games there.
Well, again, you're talking about a division that's not like that doesn't stand out as well, right? You got the Colts, Jaguars, and Texans, man. Come on.
Yeah. Who do you think's going to win
this game?
Yeah,
I have a feeling that the Patriots will stumble into a win.
Yeah, I just think that they were so annoyed about that game. I think Belichick's going to make some corrections, even if it's Jones or Zappi. Maybe Jones in the first half and Zappi in the second. I think they'll find a way to beat the Jets. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets didn't get off this losing streak against the Patriots. And they got a lot of talent, man.
I think people got it wrong. It's not really a controversy. It's just there's not any good QBs right now that the Patriots are grabbing onto. So
yeah. Well, they're not world beaters by no means.
No, man, come on.
It's not Andrew Luck or young Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady up there, but it is what it is. I say it's probably 2016. The Patriots win. Could go the other way.
You're going high with that score. I don't know.
Well, that's under 40 points. Get out of here. They beat them 25-6 last time in East Rutherford. Then they won 54-13 in Foxborough. So that's
Yeah, but now they got Sauce Gardner on
Monday night. They did play Monday night. That's a short week. That would be advantage for the Jets too. Yeah,
they got Sauce Gardner on one side, so I don't know if they'll score on that one. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think the score will be a little bit closer because
well, it's a 4-point game. I mean, it could build 2016 Jets. For all I know, I think Belichick will he'll make some proper adjustments. And Corey Davis not being there, he has a lot of chemistry with Zach Wilson. And plus, y'all lost the running back. I'm not sure how well that James Robertson's going to run behind your tackles. You still got Michael Carter at the other running back. So he's probably going to be the lead back there for you. It's going to be an interesting game. That's why all these storylines what made me want to bring that one up, man.
I'm over that though.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. Now, just stay with New York here. The Giants, now they're going across the country to play in a red hot Seattle. Seattle scored 37 points last week, man, on the road.
I still don't understand how Geno Smith is one of the top-rated quarterbacks.
Say what?
I still don't understand how Geno Smith is one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the NFL this year.
He's number 4 in QBR right now. Well, it makes you look like think that maybe some of the criticism about Russell Wilson were right, that he was stepping into too many. Oh, by the way, those rookie tackles, they're playing really well. Sometimes you get lucky, man. Sometimes you get lucky with draft picks.
How about we say this, Robert? How about we say this? It's only been this is week 8.
Yeah.
And we got 9 more weeks to go.
And they're leading the division at 4-3.
It's too
Seattle's
early,
leading
man.
that division, man.
A lot of these prognosticators and a lot of people are just calling these teams, man, it's too early, man.
Well, no, but Seattle's leading their division. They're playing really well at home. They last home game they won by 10 against Arizona, and I'm starting to believe now. They're a little banged up at receiver. I don't think Gallup or what's his name Metcalf is going to play.
DJ Metcalf.
And it looks like the other guy's a little banged up too. They're but that offensive line, Kenneth Walker, the Giants, they play at Jacksonville. They fly back to New York. Then they fly all the way across the country. Plus, they've got offensive line injuries now. Eventually, it's going to catch up with them and the Seattle defense. I think Seattle probably takes this game. But, hey, man, I've been betting against the Giants all year, and they're 6-1.
Yeah, so, I mean, you ain't listening to my song no more.
Well,
I mean, listen, the Giants are playing a lineman who shattered his leg in like 7 different places, had like 9 different operations.
Who's that?
The linemen are coming back that they reactivated.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't be playing, but I'm like, they're banking on him to just come in as a backup. That's tough, man. And look, Seahawks are good, and they lead the division, but who's in the division? San Francisco? They're wishy-washy.
No, the Chargers have beat some teams, and they beat the Chargers.
They're not in that division, no?
No, but they beat who have they beat in that division? They beat Arizona. They beat Denver, who we found out's overrated.
Denver's not in that division either.
Whose division? What are you talking about? In the West?
NFC West.
Who have they beat in division? Arizona. I just said that.
Yeah, Arizona. No, but
I don't think
I'm talking about who's going to compete with them. So they got what? It's Seattle, San Francisco, Arizona, and one more team.
Yeah, the Rams.
The Rams.
49ers, Rams, and
I
Arizona.
mean, come on, man.
But,
Rams aren't doing that great.
Yeah. Well, the Giants could go up there and beat them. Now, the Giants did beat them a few years ago.
They did. I mean, it's possible.
They beat them a few years ago. But with that running game, I just don't see the Giants with all this travel. I think they're going to run out of gas, but they'll still play it close. I think it's like a 2017 game, but I think they're just going to run out of gas with that 12th man. Got to go across the. This Kenneth Walker's playing really well. This running back.
Yeah, they're playing good.
And had 167 yards, long touchdown run.
I got this game 24-21. I got Seattle winning, man.
Oh, yes. I got Seattle winning, too. We both may be wrong about the Giants.
Watch the Giants win 24-21.
That'll probably be something like that. Yeah, 24-17, 24-20.
I just
somewhere in that ballpark for the Seattle.
People keep talking up Daniel Jones like he's all of a sudden a good quarterback, but I mean, how much longer can Barkley carry this guy, man? His legs are getting tired, man. Come on, man. Right.
And remember, I sent you that text the other day that possibly what if the Giants get to the playoffs and win a game, and then the fans are calling for to keep Jones? Would you franchise this guy for $31 million?
I wouldn't give him $5 million. In fact, if he's so good, then see what you could get from him on the trade. If he's good,
you could franchise him and trade him. That would be interesting. Yeah.
And then I told Keith this morning, I was like, man, you talk up Daniel Jones so well. Why don't the Patriots take him? Would you want the Patriots to take Daniel Jones? Probably not. You know, like, come on, man. Let's just. Sometimes you just gotta be real, man. Like,
yeah.
You know, just let it be. He's okay.
17th to 20th in just about every category.
Come on,
and it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. But they're finding a way to make it work with him. But I just can't imagine paying a guy like that $31 million. That would be crazy, insane in the membrane. Maybe they trade for Rodgers, or maybe they trade for maybe Garoppolo. But then again, the flip side is that they may hold on to Garoppolo over there in San Francisco because Trey Lance may not be their guy. So that's an interesting off-season story right there.
Yeah, and do you think he's better than Fitzpatrick was at his point when he was playing?
Only thing I can think of, and I brought this up on my program earlier this week, maybe you pay this guy like 7 to 15 with incentive, 7 guaranteed. And if he gets all ticked off, say, go try the open market and see if you got somebody stupid enough to pay you $30 million, maybe Washington, if Daniel Snyder's still there, if he's crazy enough to do that. Go right ahead. There's no way I'm paying him $31 million.
I mean, I'm not trying to be, you know.
This is because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option.
Right. And
shouldn't have.
and I'm not trying to say he's not a good athlete or nothing, but
yeah,
I feel like if he needs to mature and get better, this is not an opportune time in the NFL to try to even play for the Cleveland Browns. Just go to Canada or play in the Arena League or do something to get better. But bro, man, you're not gonna get $30 million, man. Who's gonna get $30 million?
Right. I think that's crazy. So you like Seattle Sunday. I like Seattle Sunday.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cinderella didn't have another hour left in her night before it turned midnight, but I doubt it. I think Seattle, with that 12th man up there, I think they're going to play really well and win this game. Speaking of crazy games here, now this London game is interesting because if Denver loses, there are rumors that potentially Nathaniel Hackett gets fired already.
They're already screaming that fire. They've been screaming that for after the third game.
A lot of smoke. When there's smoke, there's usually some kind of fire when something like this happens. Russell Wilson will be back, by the way.
I think he's going to play. Yeah, I don't think he's not going to play.
And remember, we spoke said last week, if Wilson plays, you like Denver. I don't know if you agree with me or not. I gave you the win, but I said if Wilson don't play, I like Jets. And, of course, the Jets did win.
Yeah. No, you did. You said that.
Ripken guy,
He almost pulled it off.
Yeah. But Denver, their defense is still pretty good. I do know that Judy is rumored to be on the trading block. I'm reading that he's immature as a receiver, but Jacksonville's got some injuries too. Jacksonville did win in London last year. They beat Miami in London. So if Jacksonville upsets, actually Jacksonville's favored, excuse me. Jacksonville's favored in this game. If they beat Denver, they're both 2-5. That would make them 2-6. There's a possibility Hackett could get fired. I don't know who they would bring in. I guess they'll just run with the interim coach. Kind of throw away the season at 2-6. That would be kind of crazy, but crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened in the NFL. I think that it's going to be a moot point. I think Denver's going to find a way to win with Wilson. Plus, they got the defense to hold it down. What do you think about this game, man?
I think that the Broncos will come up on top, even though the Jaguars have played in London more.
Yes,
should have more experience.
Yes,
it's not the same team. It's not the same coach.
Well, they did play last year there with Under Bernard. They beat Miami last year.
Yeah, but it's not the same coach. So
it's not the same coach.
And so I think that's going to be a closer game than anybody expects because it is London. You know, it's a different atmosphere there, man. You guys have to understand it's damp and cold and wet. And it's, you know, and Jacksonville's coming from a decent weather.
Yeah.
So, you know, the air is cooler there. You breathe heavier there. I just feel like if anybody has a team has a better understanding of playing in different varied weather during the season, it's a team from Colorado, right?
Okay.
That's why I give them an advantage. That's if you played there last year, you know. Now, if you're new to the team, like 60% of that team is.
Well, I don't think Denver played in London last, but
I'm saying, but they play in Colorado. I'm talking about if they play.
Yeah, it is. The weather is up and down there.
Yeah, and you know the altitude and all that stuff. So they're more likely to be able to weather that storm. But 60% of that team looks like they weren't there last year. So but it doesn't matter because I feel like that they're young enough to just go out there and run around, and they have to prove to other teams that they're legit. Right.
Yeah.
And I think
if Denver quit, if they lose this game, I think that sends a signal that the players have quit already on Hackett, knowing those rumors of Hackett being on the hot seat because of the new ownership. It's really hard to make that case, a team quitting on a coach in his first year, though.
And that's a tough call, Robert, because I feel like I don't think that Hackett came in with the right mindset to be like, let me surround myself with great coaches.
Yeah. I'm just reading you what's out there. I think it's a little crazy to do the mid-season first year. I think it's nuts.
So but I think maybe they'll give him one more year, even if he loses out the rest of the season, to be honest with you, for the reason that this guy, he knows football. He just needs to be around people, and he needs to put that on the field. He needs to put that product on the field. And you can't just turn around and put something on the field because they weren't even expecting to get Russell Wilson, man. They were expecting to get Rodgers, right? So, everybody needs, you got to give people a chance, right? And if you sign up for a season, for a couple of seasons, just give them at least one full season, right? This is only the seventh game.
They did give. We heard a lot of crazy stuff about Urban Meyer, but at least they gave him the full season,
right? Right. Yeah. So
only way I would fire a guy like this in season, not unless it was something really, really toxic, really crazy and over the top, like somebody got put in a hospital or something, or major fight, somebody pulling a gun, something really over the top. This is just underperforming.
You're talking about like the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. This is simply underperforming. Yeah, something you would see out of the movie. Out of The Last Boy Scout. You remember that movie?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the guy shoots a bunch of people on the field. That's the only way I think for something like this to happen. That seems a little crazy to fire a guy mid-season, even though they are underachieving. You got a new quarterback and a new coach, not just one or the other.
Yeah, and then what's happening in Denver is not the lack of it's not a lack of talent. It's the lack of winning with the talent you have. So it's putting everything together and trying to even muster up a win, which is what they used to be able to do, right? Come back and win a couple games. And that's what you're paying Russell Wilson to do, because that's what he's done in the past, is come back and win you a couple games. He should get you about 5 or 6 games. So and when you don't win, man, that just starts getting into your skin, man. Like, so, and under your head, like, in your head. So, they'll get a win.
Well,
They'll
they've
start
got
winning.
9 games left after
Yeah.
this.
I think, here's a bet, and then I'll probably do tonight or tomorrow before the games, before Sunday. I'll bet that the Broncos will win more games than the Giants this year.
Oh wow, that's a crazy bet. So yeah, I think Denver will win this game. I think Wilson will rally the guys. I think they'll win this game, and then they'll be 3-5. By the way, again, it's 9 more games left. Let's not get crazy. I've seen crazier things happen where teams have came back and made the playoffs. I want to say your Giants were in trouble back in 2007 and 2011. They won the Super Bowl those years. They had very rough starts those seasons. So I don't know about them winning a Super Bowl, but I could see them put together a run and maybe sliding into the playoffs as a wild card.
Now, mind you, I said better than the Giants, but I didn't say go to the Super Bowl either. So
no, I was just talking about for Denver. Anyways, so you like Denver. I like Denver. Seems like Pickles likes Denver by 6. Jacksonville still has a little ways to go, but we will see. There are no locks. I think them
letting it go Robertson is going to hurt them this week.
Who's Roberts?
Robinson.
Oh yeah, for Jack. Yeah, I don't know what they.
I think you hit on something, man.
Issue in the locker room with Robertson's behavior for them to do that.
Yeah.
He must be a locker room issue. That's the only thing I can think of because the guy's a pretty productive player.
Yeah, I think you hit on something. So anybody they should bet on the Broncos win. Plus, Russell Wilson he's already in the game, man. He was stretching out on the plane. He's doing his little jumping jacks.
Yeah, I read that too.
Doing his leg lifts.
I got a feeling that he possibly was very close to playing last week, and they just wanted to pull him back just to be on the safe side. From everything I read. Plus, that was a 1-possession game. If Russell Wilson's there that last possession, they probably he's chomping at the bit to get back on the field because of that bad play he did in the Colt game a few weeks ago. Let's move along, man. Arizona, they played great last Thursday, scored a lot of points there with DeAndre Hopkins. They're practically a different team when he's in there. Minnesota, on the other hand, they're playing really good. What are they, 5-1? 5-1. They're coming off a bye week. The problem is Minnesota had them beat, by the way, last year. I don't know if you remember this. Minnesota goes to Arizona week 2. They lose the game by a 30-yard field goal. They should have kicked that ball in. They would have beat that hot Arizona team. Dalvin Cook last year had 130 yards in Arizona.
I had him on my fantasy.
Yeah, so now they're playing off a bye week in Minnesota, but Arizona looking a little hot, warming up a little bit. They do have extra days off. I'm telling you, I still like Dalvin Cook and this Minnesota team at home. Minnesota's 0-10, or excuse me, Arizona is 0-10 at Minnesota. That's crazy, but that's historical facts. That's just something I read.
And that's a 3.5, right? A -3.5.
Yeah. I think Minnesota wins this game, but I think it's interesting. I think Arizona plays good on the road. They play pretty well. They don't really have a home field advantage. They still have the turf. They're not as bad as LA, but they still have a lot of the opposing fans in their stadium. Those 2 LA teams, man.
Listen, a lot of people got Minnesota. They're favoring Minnesota to win this. It's only 3.5 points. So,
yeah, I like Minnesota to win at home. Yeah, Justin Jefferson. I forgot about their secondary's kind of banged up with Arizona.
I'm gonna go Arizona, man.
Okay, you take Arizona on the road.
Yeah, take Minnesota. You know what it is Kyler Murray has to show up, not just at home, and he's got to prove. It's a prove-it-game for him, right? Like, you're not just a homebody. You got to play everywhere and whenever you called upon. So
they've had extra time to prepare. That makes sense.
And they got their defenses coming back as far as being a little bit healthier. So yeah, not sure if Ertz is out this week, but
Ertz. I don't think so. I didn't see him on the I didn't see any big names on the injury report. Now, James Conner's not going to play.
Yeah, he's been out for the last few weeks now. So
who's that other guy? Is it Edmonds or Edwards? They've got
Edmonds,
another decent running back there.
Yeah.
Hopkins is the big one, though.
Yeah, Hopkins makes all the difference, to be honest with you. He allows you to run the ball and stretch the field, both things, because he's so dynamic. And what people don't get about
Hopkins game here,
is that he's good at cutting off like defenders, safeties, and cornerbacks going towards your running back. He's a good blocker. He's a smart player, man. Like, so he makes a big difference when you got him on your team.
And it was a PED suspension. It was not from injury.
Right.
So it's not like he may injure. He's coming back from, and he looked very fresh in that last game. He'll probably get 100 yards there, and they could win this game. Arizona could win this game.
He was allowed to practice with the team. He just wasn't allowed to play.
Well, he played that Thursday.
No, I'm talking about when he was
prior to it. Yeah. So you're saying he was up to game speed and game shape.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Pickles says 38-34. Yeah, that's probably right. That was about
flip it, Pickles, and I'm on with you.
It was 34-33 last year at Arizona.
Yeah.
That's probably about right. That's a good fantasy game to play, Pickles, with Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson. Like you said, Ertz, there's big holes in that Minnesota defense there. And, of course, I think Kyler Murray had a pretty good game, too, as well. Plus he's got Hollywood Brown. I think Hollywood Brown is back, but he's been kind of banged up, too, though. I just like Minnesota off that bye week, man. I think they're going to be able to run the ball really well.
When teams come off a bye week, you never know what you're going to get. I'm like,
that's true. That is true.
I'm liking this, and I'm maybe going to see if I can catch the game somewhere because I want to see this game. I don't know why, but
that's going to be a good game.
I'm intrigued. It is a very intriguing situation.
It's a fast pace. Well, there's two big name wide receivers, Justin Jefferson and DeAndre Hopkins. You could play both of them, and if you're playing like a FanDuel or DraftKings type of fantasy type of deal there. Another big game, San Francisco. The Rams are coming off a bye week. Now, Deebo Samuel's out, but you've got Brandon Ayuk is starting to pick up a lot of chemistry there with Jimmy Garoppolo this year, kind of having a breakout year. I think Christian McCaffrey, he's going to get involved more in their running game. The 49ers are actually favored in this game, I think, because of Noteboom being out for the season, their left tackle there at the Rams, and Nick Bosa being back. I actually like San Francisco to win this game. I was going to go the other way, but when I read about that left tackle being out for the Rams, I actually think that plus Sean McVay, guys, is 1-3 off bye weeks. You would think he would be really good. He's a good coach. But he's only 1-3 in his last 3 off of bye weeks. He's not as sharp as I originally thought he was. San Francisco wins a close one, man, and McCaffrey gets more carries.
And they got this at a 1.5, and I've seen up to 2.
It's very close, yeah,
very close. Let's see, where they playing at?
I think it's in LA.
I mean, doesn't matter. It's like a home game for the 49ers, bro. If you think about it.
I know.
They just go up the street from the Bay. They just go up street, man. You know what? Because San Francisco doesn't have to travel or do anything.
Yeah.
I'm giving this game to San Francisco, man.
Okay, I'm going to take the 49ers too with that run game.
Are you taking the 2 points? Are you taking a 1.5?
Oh, no, I think they'll win and cover that 1.5. Don't go out on the limb there, Carlos. You didn't want to for LSU a couple of weeks ago.
You cutting it close, man. You got a penny pinch, man.
You are cutting it close.
Holiday season's coming through.
So that is all of our NFL games. I mean, if you want to throw that Green Bay Buffalo game in there, you can. Buffalo's coming off a bye week. They're, I didn't put this one in the text, but
No, I'm gonna tell you one that's gonna be good to watch.
What's that?
The Panthers and the Falcons, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I know it sounds like
the loser gets closer to the first round pick. Yeah.
Not just that. but you have now I told you to watch out for the Falcons, right? I told you they were a sneaky team. They've been in every single game they played in. Less than 6 points, man. That's crazy.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
No, they got blown out by Cincinnati last week.
Besides that game. Besides that game, before that
I will
game
say
happened.
this, to your defense, they did go up there and beat Seattle. There was one team that did beat Seattle in Seattle.
Right. So and then the Panthers got rid of the coach, won big last week. Can they make it 2?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean,
I think Tampa is in a lot worse shape than people think they are. By the way, did you read that the divorce is supposedly final with Tom Brady?
Look, I'm gonna tell people whatever happens in Tom Brady's life in the private, his mom, had an issue with the son. His
he did have an issue
wife,
with his mom,
his ex-wife, current wife. That stuff don't matter to him. What you see on the field is him frustrated because he is not getting the ball.
I'll just tell the audience that's in the news, but their whole offensive line's banged up. Their defense
everybody's old. It's just small little things that are allowing the other team to catch up to them and get the win at the end. They're not losing by a ton of points, and that's that. And this is a man that's used to winning. Hell, this is the first time he's lost 3 games in a row, man.
When you're 32nd in rushing and you got a 45-year-old quarterback with the new offensive line, this is what it looks like. Yeah,
no, but Robert, that's not. They went away from the running yesterday, and it looked like Fournette
was playing Baltimore. You have to.
You looked like Fournette looked like he was good to go. He did the first 3 runs. I'm like, okay, here we go. They're gonna use Fournette. They're gonna play action fake. And they went away from that. And when they went away from that, it just started snowballing.
That's your opinion, my friend. That's your opinion.
You didn't think Fournette had wide open.
He's okay, but it's just when there's 65 yards a game rushing. And the next best team is like 75.
Because they're going away from the run game.
Yeah.
And they're not losing by much in some of these games.
Them in the game. I mean, I like Brady too. I love Brady, but I just got to call.
It's not. I'm not a Brady fan. To be honest with you, he killed my teams for so long. But what I'm saying is that the people, again, this is only week 6. Yeah. If he comes back and wins out, what does everybody have to say then?
Well, there would be some kind of reason for that. Okay, let's go to the college games.
Let's do this.
There's a lot of big games here. These are a lot of prequel games. Florida is playing Georgia. Now, this is a rival game. Both teams have the week off prior to this game. Both teams had the week off last year. But the only difference is now Florida, they're starting for some reason last year. Georgia beat Florida last year 34-7, right?
Right.
But my thing is they did not have their starting quarterback. He's there this year. It's the same guy. His name is Anthony Richardson. His last 2 games against big-time opponents, he's had 35 points in a loss to the LSU. And then he's also had 33 against Tennessee, and they were throw away from beating Tennessee. That would have been devastating for Tennessee. I don't think that Georgia's overlooking this game, but I do think that this 22.5-point spread is a little crazy. I know Georgia's loaded, but I think they keep it just within that 22 points of Georgia and Florida in Jacksonville. They call it the world's largest cocktail party, but they used to be called that. Now it's some kind of politically correct stuff. It's in Jacksonville. It's at a neutral site. I'm not a fan of these neutral site games. I like home and away. But what do you think about Georgia and Florida?
Because it's at a neutral site, but it's still in Florida.
Pickles even says 19. The point spread is 22.5. My thing is they keep it within that 3 scores. You can win by 21 and still have Florida in the points.
Yeah, man, they might muck that up. I mean, the 22 points is about right. Vegas.
Yeah, I do think it'll be inside that. Not just slightly though. Let me not get that crazy.
Vegas
22-21, you still win if you took the points.
Yeah, Vegas, they do stuff right, and by lay down the points, and they don't mess up really so
They're
much on
pretty
that.
close, yeah.
I think,
Especially these rival games.
But it's a rival game, but they're coming off bye weeks, man. So,
both teams are.
Both teams, so they got to get the engines revved up to get back into the SEC championship, run. So, but I give this to Florida, man, for sure.
So you think they'll keep it within?
I'm sorry. I give this to Florida to muck it up. Georgia will win this game
by more than 22.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, are you just saying that they're not going to overlook this game?
Yeah, they're not. This is going to be something that, Florida might compete with them in the first half, but I think after that, Georgia, they're scary with their defense.
Yeah, when they're tested, they really step their game up.
Yeah.
And the only game they were flat is that Missouri game.
I tell you what, if their defense scores 2 points, not field goals, something actually like interception, pick six, or fumble recovery, if they score 2, that's the 22 points right there.
Well, yeah, I mean that. Last year they beat them 34-7. Could Georgia beat them 45-10? Yeah, they could. They've got the firepower to do it. But I think with this other guy, he's going to keep it within that range. Right. This is a huge point spread. Whoever thought we would have been talking about this large a point spread 10 years ago when Urban Meyer was coaching Florida?
Yeah, no, that would have never happened.
And Mark Richt was coaching Georgia. It would have been 22 the other way, perhaps.
But Mark Richt never had that team to they maybe had 1 or 2 good seasons.
Yeah.
After that, he was kind of which is why he got fired. He was kind of just mediocre. Listen, here's the thing. That quarterback is going to try to do whatever he can to win that game for Florida, right?
Yeah. Anthony Richardson.
But he could throw picks, remember? He could throw picks. He's really he's been shying away from that.
They got a new coach this year, and they have played well the last few weeks.
He runs the ball. If you got a DB or a good linebacker or a D lineman and hit him really good, he's gonna lose that ball, man.
Yeah.
So like I said, if that defense for Georgia picks up two touchdowns, that's it.
That's possible. They got a lot of they got 2 top 10 NFL draft picks on their team. Now we're setting this up because Tennessee and Georgia play next week. That's going to be a massive game. It's going to be the game of the year. Not unless both lose. I don't think either will lose. Tennessee plays Kentucky. Kentucky has a very high draft pick, also a quarterback, Will Levis. I did look this up though during the research of the program. Will Levis played against Tennessee last year, and that was a 3-point game. That was at Kentucky. Plus, they had their running back, this Rodriguez Jr. He's a very good running back. He's had some off-field problems. He got suspended. He came back. Kentucky guys, they're coming off a bye week, but it is in Knoxville, and it's 11.5-point spread here. I think Tennessee closes late and beats that spread barely. But I do think that Kentucky, prior to that, will stay in this game. That's what will make it interesting. I think it's like Tennessee probably 45 to 31 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of that 40-27 stuff, and I'm like, what? I don't know, man.
Kentucky's pretty good. They're 19th.
Yeah.
They beat Florida by double digits in Florida in week 2. That was coming off of that Utah game that Florida played.
So Tennessee's defense doesn't matter in this game? Is that what you're saying?
Tennessee they are a top 10 run defense, but this team's coming off a bye week. That always helps the running backs coming off bye week.
But they only got 1.
Well, he's probably going to get, if he could keep his nose clean, this guy will play in the NFL, I think.
I don't know, man. He's got already priors. He's going to be a 3rd or 4th round pick.
A 5th rounder that's going to be a steal. Pickle says 30-17. I could see Tennessee pulling away late. I still see them getting in the 40s. They've scored in the 40s last year on Kentucky. I like Tennessee to win and cover. I think they cover late, though.
And I think we should use this as a not as a measuring stick game, but as a they got to prove that their defense can match up. So I don't know. I got Tennessee winning this game, but I don't know. I don't know if the spread is right.
Yeah. Do you think it should be higher or lower? It's usually a 3-point game, by the way.
Yeah,
I
think it should be close. I think it should be a closer game.
Right? Oh, you don't think they're going to cover that 11-5?
No, but I mean, if they're saying 11,
11 and a half.
11 and a half. Jeez.
And this guy's going to be one mock draft I read that Will Levis could potentially be the 3rd overall pick.
Over
and
Hooker?
Bryce Young could be the number 1 overall pick from Alabama.
And Hooker what? Hooker just
Hooker people there. He's not getting the love from the scouts yet.
Didn't they have the Giants GM talking to him after the game, the Alabama game?
I think it's crazy that he's not getting the love. He's playing at a very high level. They said this about Joe Burrow when he was at LSU, and he turned out to be the number 1 pick.
I'm surprised that that people have this guy going number 3. This is Zach Wilson wannabe, bro.
Yeah, he's got that quick release. We'll see. I mean, here's a possible scenario where Tennessee could blow them out. They do have offensive line issues. He was knocked out of the Ole Miss game, this Will Levis guy.
Yeah.
And then they lost to South Carolina the very next week. Yes. And who else did they lose? They lost to Ole Miss, and then they lost to South. But they did beat Mississippi State. They manhandled Florida by 10 at Florida.
I know that. I mean, but Tennessee beat Florida too.
Pretty good. Florida almost beat Tennessee. You know, it's kind of a fluke play, but a play's a play, man. They put 33 points on Tennessee.
All right, you know what? I mean, I want Tennessee, but I don't like the spread. I just go for a straight win.
Tennessee on the money line.
Yeah, just go for straight win.
Kentucky covers.
I guess so.
Yeah, I know. I think Tennessee covers late. I think they cover late. I wish this game wasn't at 6:00. But it is. It's at 6:00 Central, 7:00 Eastern. It should be at 2:30 or 11 a.m. Kentucky's 19th, Tennessee's 3rd. Florida's not even ranked, and they're getting the 2:30 time slot.
Oh, man.
You know,
I'm gonna be sick if something bad happens.
Well, if Tennessee goes in there looking ahead, they could lose. I mean, I like to tell all the scenarios, and I don't see life through orange and white sunglasses. Through anybody else's.
I think I've been calm this year about UT as far as when they play. I'm not I can't be like
they almost lost to Pittsburgh early this year. But they've just kind of gotten exploded since then offensively,
right? And in the defense have been, they're a well balanced team. So
and they've got a good pass rush too. They've got some sacks. Their secondary is terrible, but that run defense, I just looked it up today. It's still like 9th, and that's in the nation. That's not in just the SEC,
right?
I'm still thinking about next week. I don't know. It's really hard. I'm gonna have to really study the injury report to handicap Tennessee, Georgia, man. But we will put together some extra time next week.
Yeah, what's the weather like in Knoxville this weekend?
Yeah. It's not doing nothing here. I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Okay.
Now, if it's going to be a rain game, that would favor. If it comes up on my phone, I'll tell you. But I don't think it's going to be an issue.
I'll be there next week, but they're playing in Georgia.
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah. It's not coming up. But my guess is game day will be in Knoxville or will be in Athens next week.
Yeah.
And my guess is it'll be a 2:30 Central game, 3:30 Eastern. That's just my guess. I know we're so excited. I just can't wait for that Georgia-Tennessee game. I mean,
you rather go down to Georgia than go to Knoxville?
No, I'm not going to either one.
You should go to Georgia.
Plenty of money to do that and didn't have to worry about work the next day or Monday. Yeah.
You should go to Georgia, man. It's a nice little trip.
Yeah, I've never been to Athens, man.
That's nice.
A few times.
You should go.
That would be interesting. That would be an interesting game to go to.
So
Pickle says 65 game time. It's around 7:00. But I appreciate you guys coming in. Carlos, appreciate it. We're already over an hour, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I will see you next week. Stay in touch. And, hit me up during the games, man.
Let's grab some cerveza, man. Let's do this.
All right, brother. See you, man. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Pickles.
Enjoy your weekend.